yesterday we announced Operation Economic Fury. As we have told countries that if you are buying Iranian oil, that if Iranian money is sitting in your banks, we are now willing to apply secondary sanctions, which is a very stern measure, and the Iranians should know that this is going to be the financial equivalent of what we saw in the kinetic activities.
Is this an example of expanding the war economically as opposed to militarily? Is this another phase of that?
Exactly.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership. I am truly grateful to be a member of your team here at this table to help support you in delivering on the promises that you made to the American people. You came in with a very clear mandate of taking on the rampant weaponization, politicization of the intelligence community and federal law enforcement, experiencing yourself, the deep state abusing their power as they have against you, your family, and so many of the American people. Bring out accountability, truly, for those who have abused their power, making sure that the intelligence community is supporting your efforts in keeping the American people safe, secure, and free, and being the president of peace. I'm grateful to be in this position as your Director of National Intelligence to support you in these efforts, and I'll cover very briefly what we've done over the last year under your leadership and what we look forward to continuing to focus on next year. First of all, under your leadership, again, we've taken on a historic effort for transparency, declassification, and exposing these abuses of power by these deep state actors. We've declassified over 500,000 documents, many of which had never been seen before by the American people, put them online to bring about this level of transparency. We formed a weaponization working group, again, to be able to go after a lot of these abuses of power that have never seen the light of day, to support the accountability that under Pam Bondi's leadership in the Department of Justice is coming about. Secondly, bringing about reform to the intelligence community to make sure that we have the most effective and efficient and focused workforce that's really working on bringing about the priorities you have laid out in ensuring our country's security. And lastly, Mr. President, working with many of our partners here around the table, is going after these domestic threats. We have threats coming from both Islamist ideology as well as Islamist terrorists, foreign terrorist organizations, and those who seek to do harm to the American people, many of whom were let in across our borders under the previous administration. We are focused on these tasks and this imperative for the American people, and just appreciate your leadership, Mr. President, in empowering us to be able to conduct this service. Merry Christmas.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Buzz here with your commodities news. Busted. Iran has been allegedly caught sneaking oil into Italy. According to the Wall Street Journal, Italy's major oil firm Eni has a contract with Iraq and ordered the cargo through Nigeria. Upon inspection, Eni noticed qualities consistent with Iranian crude. Iran oil exports violate U.S. sanctions, which are expected to tighten further amid rising tensions.
I know. I mean, Spain and France have closed their airspaces to planes involved in this war. Italy won't even allow the use of a base in Sicily.
What is the purpose of being an alliance whose benefit to us is these basing rights if in a time of conflict like the one we've had with Iran, they can deny us the use of those bases? So why are we there for? Only to protect them, but not to further our national interest? This is a very legitimate question that we need to address.
And we pay 2/3 of the bill. Mr. Secretary, great to see you. Thank you so much for your time.
Where they made new bat coronaviruses called chimeras that got closer and closer to human transmission. So was the wet market a super spreader event? And was where this came from, the lab? A lot of people believe that that's the more likely explanation, including Dr. Ashish Jha, who I interviewed last week about this, who worked directly with Biden as well. Right. So I think the best way to look at this is that Fauci was pushing the narrative he thought was true, but that did a disservice to the American public.
And unfortunately, Dr. Siegel, if you take yourself back to that time, Dr. Fauci was in such high-level key roles during the pandemic that, in a way, we all sense that he was sort of shielded from scrutiny during all of this.
Yeah, and he was looking very carefully, Sandra. This also came out of the Tulsi Gabbard documents. He was looking very carefully at the pangolin, which was falsely believed to be the intermediate creature between the bat and human. Then later, research out of Arizona State started looking at raccoon dogs, which is more likely. But again, the ultimate view now is it's more likely the lab. But he was backing that kind of research. And what her documents show is the excess focus on the pangolin, which ended up being a rabbit hole that wasn't what people thought.
Yeah, Doc, real quick, just before we end here. Fauci apparently met, according to these documents, with the CIA June 2nd, 2021. This in the Post. Documents make it clear the CIA was aware that Wuhan staff became ill in late 2019, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, and I think that too, and the CIA has recently released that, or at least a year or two ago, that our intelligence communities had a lot of suspicion about that lab going back. And, I've looked at that. There was a lot of documents that were redacted. There were people in 2019 in the summer that were going to local hospitals sick with a strange virus. And, if you recall, John, last point, China has a history of suppressing information on outbreaks going all the way back to SARS-1. And we said after SARS-1, we're not going to believe them. Instead, a global alliance of scientists was formed that ended up leading to these theories again.
Pascal, I would like to begin with what might have been a trigger for your whistleblowing. You come from a very important Bahraini family, and your Swiss side is equally important. You're a direct descendant of a former Swiss president, as a matter of fact. You were headed toward quite a predictable career in international banking, and that's how things started out for you. When and why did that change? What exactly was the trigger?
The card house of lies got destroyed by pulling one card, and that was your president. He pulled the card after being lied to by his advisors. He's not a doctor. He's not a toxicologist. He's a businessman and a peacemaker, after all. He got lied to as high treason, and the consequences will come very soon.
Copyright GeoStrat Agency LLC 2026.
I will always place the mission first. I will never accept defeat. I will never quit. And I will never leave a fallen comrade. We will never leave a fallen comrade. We will not neglect those who are injured, sick, or in need.
I won't divulge internal conversations. I will say that those of us within the intelligence community continue to provide the president with all of the best objective intelligence available to inform his decisions.
The last what the world wants is an insecure United States. We need a strong, healthy, wealthy, self-competent, not warmongering United States to keep peace. It's the way your president is managing things. President Trump, that is.
War in this context and in pursuit of peace is necessary.
not the bully of the Middle East anymore.